Welcome everybody. We are the Bakersmen. We are the Bakersmen Collective, and today we are lining up and listening to "Since I Have a Lover" by Black. Um, for those of you who have tuned in the past, this is a dual stream show, so please be patient with us while we go live on Instagram.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it now. Fuck it up.
Listen, you can't. I know me somewhat, Kaya.
She's one of them people you just can't help but to like her.
Right. That is a Florida native right there. Light up and listen. Light up and listen. Man, I like this album so much. I have a lover. And I just watched an interview with Black and Angela Yee. Oh, just exactly what we needed. What up, everybody? Welcome to Live for Listening. We are. I'm sorry.
There we go.
Hey. Talking outside. Hey, let me pause this before we get kicked off the gram.
Right.
That's gonna happen. But y'all know we be vibing. Okay.
Before we get the boot.
Right. And we here. Oh, okay. Simulcasted. What's going on, everybody? It's the Bakersmen Collective. I'm Lotta.
I'm D'Anthony Goes. What up, Chris Brady?
Oh, the echo.
Uh-oh.
Hold on.
Can you hear her echo now?
I'll
see you tomorrow, Chris.
Is that you're not coming out of my headphones. Okay. As I thought you would be.
I muted the laptop because I thought it was that.
Huh?
I said I muted the laptop because I thought it was that.
Okay. Well, now you're coming out of my headphones without an issue. I think at first you were just, and then I turned down my computer, which solved, I think, my issues on my end. So you are good. Perfect. Okay. So, like I was saying, we are the Bakersmen Collective. Welcome to our live stream series called Light Up and Listen. It's where we like to honor an album we think that fits the season, and connect it to some cannabis news. Right. So I don't know what you're smoking on. Please feel free to drop it in the comments. But today we have been, well, not even today, man. How many times have you played this album? Because I'm at least up to 8, 9, 10.
I didn't play it that much. I think I played it like 3 times. And today, the 3rd time was a charm because I actually found other songs that I might like. Because at first, I only liked one.
That's tough. Listen, you might be on Joe Budden's side of things with this album. But we are talking about Since I Have a Lover by Black. And yeah, I mean, I like Black. And anytime that I find an album that catches my attention, I'm going to obsess over it. So I've played it randomly and not nearly as often as I probably could have had I had an iPhone, because I pay for Apple Music. And so not having access to that readily available meant that my listening to albums have diminished, or I gotta be tricky about it. So I'd be playing stuff on the clock. You feel me? Making stuff bump. But Since I Have a Lover, I think it was a slow grower for me too. Song wise, I had trouble picking out what my favorite songs were. I had real trouble picking those out this time. And I think it's to me, it seems like one cohesive body of work, right?
Yes.
So it was the songs aren't too different amongst them for me. It flows. You hit play and you go through this kind of an emotional unpacking.
That's what the issue was for me, because I feel like before his music was a little more just like harder, and he wasn't so forthcoming and like emotional. It seemed before, like the shit before was like, boom, this is what it is. This is what I'm talking about. But now it's just like it was like a whole story, sad one.
Yeah, but I don't find that this story is sad. It might be down tempo and more relaxed, but I think it's like where you say he was very hard hitting in the beginning and very raw in your face. There was an element of anger to his music before that it,
Yeah.
like and actual hurt, whereas I feel like this album is about peace, the coming out of that, and he attests to that in the interview that I was just talking about with Since I Have a Lover. His point was everyone's like why won't you like, he's like, I hope I never have to make another East Atlanta love letter too. I hope I never, like, because I had a debate. My brain is everywhere, but I had a debate over which album was better. And I wasn't trying to get into a debate. I was just stating that I like this album. And they're like, over East Atlanta love letter? And I was like, I don't think they're comparable albums. They're very the same. It's the exact same artist creating music, but he is at very two different places in his life and should not be compared for like its excellence. Like I've gotten past looking at music based off of like where you're gonna sell it, and now knowing musical artists look at like each project as like, have you grown as an artist or a person, and can I hear it in what you're creating, right? And I got that with Since I Have a Lover, and I will stand by the statement that Black Since I Have a Lover is what I was hoping that I would hear from SZA's SOS album, right? The growth between Control and I don't think there was none.
I haven't even heard the album like that still. And that says a lot.
Huh?
I haven't even heard that album like that still, and that really says a lot.
But yeah, that's how I feel about this album. And back to what Black was saying, he's like, I hope I never have to make another East Atlanta love letter. He was like, it was born out of heartbreak and frustrating and the difficult relationships I was dealing with then, and that is not where I'm at now. And he's like, if I gotta go back there or into that place, like he's like, you can make music from this broken space, but it does make for good art, but like who wants to stay there forever? Right. And like, oh, they're hating on me, they done did this to me, all this stuff. Who wants to stay in that pocket of music? Like, and once I heard him say that, I was like, that's exactly what I was trying to say of the energy of this season. Like fuck all the old, you know what I mean? Like, let's move forward. But what do you think are your favorite songs? Like, I would love to hear.
Well, off top, since day one, since I ever heard the first album, because I really was like, the first song that stuck with me the whole time was Preach.
Oh, yeah.
I love Preach. It reminds me of like almost of my song Jealousy, not because of the content, not the sound. It's just like what he said. He was like feeling himself. He was like telling the truth and saying, I'm gonna tell the truth. Like, you know what I mean? And you know, that's kind of what I was doing in Jealousy, just like telling the truth, my truth. So I was like, I like this song, Preach. And Fatal Attraction grew on me, especially today. I heard it a couple of times today, and I'm like, I actually like this song. And then I had Rent Free, Stories in Motion, and B4L.
Okay. Let's see. For me, Decatur is number one. And I don't even know
You
if
like
that's
Decatur?
the
I
first...
kept trying to get into it. The title had me, but the sound didn't sound like the Decatur. It was like the opposite. It would sound like Little House on the Prairie.
Right. I like the difference. I like, because to me, okay, part of this is that Black was raised in Atlanta but born in Boston, right?
Okay.
One, so like, but Atlanta made him who he is. So his take on Atlanta, like the experience of Atlanta, Decatur being in Atlanta, like I like to hear natives of an area talk about it, because it's very different from people looking at what Atlanta is or whatever they presume to see it might be. Someone who's lived and had that experience, and that's what I like about the song. So like I listened to the song like 10 times over. I was like, this song's hard. What's it called? And I saw that it was called Decatur. And I was like, why the fuck is it called Decatur? Like, Like, what does this have to do with anything? But I
Right.
know he mentions it, like it's a bar in the song. He talks of like the place a little bit, but it's more of a vibe, and that made me want to see Decatur as an adult now. Like maybe just go back and try to go through the lens of someone who fully raised there, because I only spent like 5 years, 4 to 5 years living in it. Two, I should also state that Black is a Cancer.
Yes.
And now it makes sense. Once you say that out loud, he is very much a Cancer. And I did some, the minute I saw his birthday, I was like, oh my God, no wonder why I like all your music. No wonder why I like how you present yourself as an artist, how you carry yourself, the privacy yet openness, like that willingness to be vulnerable, be sad in songs, talk about the experiences that you have had. Oh, love it.
Now,
Because
you know what's crazy? Now that you mentioned he's a Cancer, there's another Cancer who's a singer who I think does that very well too. So maybe Cancers do that in their music because her is a Cancer.
uh, yep.
And I feel like she does that very well too.
Yep. Very listen. And then like the fact that he's very much in touch with his I would say femininity or feminine energy. Like he made a point in his interview to state, hey, I like working with women R&B artists, because Angela Yee was giving him his flowers for saying like, you got songs with Jessie Reyez, and he's like, yep, I'm dropping them, like we're dropping a project, a combined project with her, and I like to bring up
That's
and coming
dope.
artists. You know what I'm saying? Like those, like he works with vocalists, people who feel R&B when he creates music. And to think that this individual started as a battle rapper, right? It speaks to the like the understanding of not only your art, but where you're willing to take your art. And then him talking about his history. Oh man, like starting as a battle rapper, pulling up to random places, signing bad record deals, like having to experience homelessness as a result of like the whole starving artist trope, but the whole entire time knowing what kind of artist he wanted to be and having to push his career into that. I find that so inspiring to like not even be concerned, because you can hear that growth, that understanding in this album that he creates, right? Like
Right.
of like, I'm happy with the life I live. Everything I do is on purpose, with intention. I'm going to talk about it. And in this interview, he talks about what happened previously, like how he had to actually take therapy seriously because of the impact of his anger and his frustration at what he was experiencing in life, made their like business connections complicated, made like some people had to go because they wasn't on board with what his vision was. Like he's stating all of this, and he's like, some of those people, they helped get me to where I am, but I'm there's no longer part of the team. And I'm like, oh shit, like some of like the conversation being had in this album is way more than just a relationship, right? Like if you view the title, Since I Have a Lover, you think that it's just like, okay, now that I'm in a relationship, life is great. But no, I'm in a relationship that forced me to grow as a human being by understanding myself more and seeking help for myself. And so Since I Have a Lover, here's what's happened, because it's been a minute since I dropped an album on you.
Right.
And I'm just like, go ahead with that level and those layers of depth as a freaking artist. Black. And I don't know. Do you feel free to? I don't want to take up the whole time talking about how
Oh
much
no,
I love
I just feel like I said, the album was cool for me. I had to listen to it a couple of times. I'm glad that we like kind of pushed it back again, because
it.
it forced me to listen to it again, multiple times. It's like my third or fourth time listening to it, a fourth time actually, because Trey played it in the car. And it just gave me a chance to be like, okay, maybe I do like this song. Because at first, like I said, Preach was the only one on my list. But then the second song that came was Fatal Attraction. And I was like, I just like how it sounds. It's hard too. It sounds hard, but it's like what he's saying in the song for me. It's just like, I actually like this. So I played that like 3 or 4 times today when I was out and about stuff. Like, I actually like that. But what was that song again? I had to like go through all the songs to find which one it was.
Right.
And then Rent Free, I like that one too.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not much really I can say. Like I said, like I haven't really dove into Black as an artist. I've heard plenty of songs, but there's a couple of songs that he got that every time I hear it, I'm like, I like, who's that? That's Black, right? Like, and so this
Right.
album, I didn't really get that except for when I heard Preach.
Right. I think Problems is one that everyone will always be known for, and he tells the story on the interview. So the interview is linked in our bio if you want to know. But interview of like how like everyone could see that this person wasn't right for him relationship wise, but he was still kind of hopeful until the person snapped and they woke up and it was like, oh baby, you got to go. Like
Right.
everyone's trying to invite him to go out. Meanwhile, he's writing this song. But I think something that you would appreciate his statement was, right? Angelique Yee was like, how did you go from being a battle rapper to like a songwriter, right? A musician and R&B artist, if you will. And he was like, battle rappers like say a lot, right? They say a lot of words. It's the same content, but there's a lot more words being said in battle rap to get the point across. And battle rappers don't know how to write a good song. So,
Yeah.
and I think what catches you a lot is like how the song is written, the musicality, what happens there, and like that's what you like about him. But that's something he recognized in himself for his career that he had to switch. Like battle rapping's cool, like I can go bar for bar, and that's why like some of his productions and everything hit as hard as it does because he was a rapper. Like he has this history, but you're going to get more depth, more understanding with the music that he writes. And he's like, it got, the more I focused on my songwriting, the better my vocabulary got. Like those other things they kept enhancing. And that's what I want for any artist, but definitely an album or someone that gets nominated for Light Up and Listen. Like you have to show progression and growth in your craft. So all of that. I should state that Decatur, Rent Free, Talk, and Fatal Attraction are my like top 4 favorite songs. I'm still figuring it out, and more people need to listen to whole albums. Like Jimmy Snow is cool, but like it took him 4 listens to find something that he liked in him to be able to say, hey, this is actually cool. And that's not saying that the album's bad. Sometimes you need to listen to it again because where you are, you're not listening to the words, you're just listening to the beat, or you're listening to the words, but you don't actually understand how many like entendres, you know what I mean? Is like how that could be perceived. So listen to an album more than once, damn it. Like, please. Before you say, oh, the album's trash. But Cannabis Wormhole, with this growing, like becoming a bit of a better person or a better industry, like that's what I grabbed from this, right? Like since you have made connection with someone or someone of the community, I have become a better person. That's what I took from Since I Have a Lover. And I think that that can be said with what has recently been happening in the cannabis, the Washington cannabis industry. So advocates have been holding the Liquor and Cannabis Board and the Washington State Legislature they've been holding them accountable to create actual change that benefits the communities here in Washington. And we finally see now that the legislative session closed, what turned out like this. Remember when we started way back, I was like, there's 19 cannabis bills going through the House, yada, yada, yada. Well, they started hacking and chopping, and we got down to 7 cannabis related bills were passed by the legislature during the 2023 regular session, but they haven't been signed, vetoed, or partially vetoed by the governor. So shout out to the Cannabis Observer, Gregory and Bailey, for keeping us informed and actually like staying in tuned with the legislature and what's happening, because they had like long days. Like they would start at 9 a.m. and close at like 11 p.m. You know what I mean? Like, and these are people that have to sit there just to get the information to the community and record all of it, transcribe all of it. So go to the cannabisobserver.com. Go support them, because I don't have the time in my schedule to do that. You feel me? but they did. And so House Bill 1066, making technical corrections and removing obsolete language from the revised code of Washington pursuant to RCW 1.08.025 passed. HB House Bill 1563 concerning arrest protections for the medical use of cannabis passed, right? And they've been these are some bills that like have been going to the House every year for 6 years. You feel me? Like they've in some way, some shape or form have been trying to get these bills passed. And this is 2023 is the motherfucking year it went down. So since I have a lover, since the LCB is actually making efforts, the legislators actually listening to advocates, because I was there in February up in their ear, like, yo, this is what's good, right? Like now we're getting some traction in this industry. So House Bill 1772 prohibiting products that combine alcohol and THC, tetrahydrocannabinol, cannabinol. So that's cool. Like, I don't think that should be something that ever gets produced, because you can do that in your free time. Go ahead, go buy the stuff. And if you want to go down that road, by all means. But like, I don't think that's something we need to sell on market. And I'm really about the fact that the same board that governs alcohol governs cannabis. So nah. SB 5069, allowing interstate cannabis agreements. That's a trigger bill that we've been talking about. So should we go federally legal, Washington is now, once it gets signed, in the position to be able to do commerce with other states that have interstate trigger bills, California, Oregon. So now we can sell our weed up and down the West Coast, okay? SB 5367 concerning the regulation of products containing THC. And I think that is the one that Painted Rooster has been behind and lobbying for to change the limits. SB 5123 concerning the employment of individuals who lawfully consume cannabis. Because what are you drug testing me for in this state, baby? What are you trying to check? What are you trying to see? You can't prove that I was intoxicated when the situation happened. So why are you?
And that's crazy because it's legal. So you need to start testing people for cigarettes too then.
Yeah. So we've been saying that it's crazy. We finally getting a law to make them get up off us. You feel me? And then the one that we are really going to dive into, which is SB 5080. Much love to FMS Global Strategies, Black Excellence in Cannabis. As a result of those two organizations and the lobbying power, like of them, SB 5080 was written and then lobbied for successfully and passed. And now I'm going to get into what that means. But before I get into what that means, I do want to state that anyone that was submitting social equity applications, the window, they had the emergency, they extended it. It closed 5 p.m. last night. So if you don't got your applications in for the first 44 licenses, the retail licenses that became available, so sorry. So sorry. Yeah. Well, it's a wrap for now, because we've been talking to you about this for months on months on months. But if you didn't get it in, you're not getting one of them, and good luck to all those who did get their applications in. Now, if you're still interested in participating in the cannabis industry, listening to what I say about SB 5080 is for you, because this new bill expands the program by increasing the number of licenses available to social equity applicants and providing additional resources to help them start and run their business. It also expands the definition of social equity applicant to include individuals who have been negatively impacted by the criminal justice system, including those with prior cannabis-related convictions. Now, why am I reading this, right? And not just spitting these facts for you? Because I asked the person who wrote the bill to tell me what was the most important things that should be shared about this bill, right? Like, no. I'm not jumping around. I'm not giving you any interpretation. She sent me an email, shout out to Paula Sardinas at FMS Global Solutions, and she said, this is what people need to know this bill does. So either pay attention or don't, but don't ask me about it after this, okay? Because it's recorded and saved. So okay. It also amends the definitions of disproportionately impacted area, social equity applicant, and social equity plan in the social equity and cannabis program. Now, those of you who have applied for the first 44 licenses, part of the social equity plan, know that there were some issues with the DIA area, excuse me, not actually reflecting the current, the historically disproportionately impacted areas that what happened in Washington. So that is one of the reasons why the first wave of licenses and that application process had to be extended, like a very minimal reason. The other reason was the SOS had a 2-week backup. So folks trying to get their business license, their articles of incorporation, their entity filed with the state actually had a delay. So they gave more breadth of opportunity for those individuals. But so they're fixing the DIA issues. They are changing the criteria because we realize the criteria. Huh?
I can't hear you anymore.
Oh, so somebody's calling me.
Okay.
Let me make sure. Anyway, I might have another meeting, so we're gonna wrap this one pretty quickly. The information is linked in our bio, so whatever you don't gather from me, please read for yourself. It's always accessible. Slide into our DMs, hit us up. I will share the information. Okay, that's the point of the Bakersmen Collective. We are networking to get more people that look like us within this industry. So, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I heard you when you did whatever you did.
Okay, cool. So it extends the program until July 1st of 2032. All right. So that means that we can get more licenses on board all the way to July of 2032. It modifies the licenses the Liquor and Cannabis Board may issue or reissue under the program, which includes certain cannabis retailer, producer, processor license, and waives annual fees under the program until July 2032. So that would be like your business filing fees and things of that nature, like paying for your business license with the LCB board. Like that is going to be waived. They are actually making an attempt to make it accessible to the average person.
Whatever, Omar.
Yo, you know, we gonna see you on Sunday, 9:15 sharp to get into the mess because I got some updates. Anyway, so the final bit of this is the new cannabis retailer and producer licenses for the program. Every 3 years until July 1st of 2032, the LCB may, with the approval of the legislature through the passage of a bill, increase the number of cannabis retailer and cannabis producer licenses for the program based on the most recent census data and the annual population estimates established by the Office of Financial Management. What does that mean in layman's terms? Well, Washington had a cap on licenses, like a retailer, producer, processor. What was out there is out there. So what you had to do what you had to do was go buy a license off someone else, which means the license were originally issued for like $250 or something. But now for you to go get that same license, you might be paying $100,000 to somebody for it, for an established business. Like, you feel me? That's what I'm saying. Like back in 2012, when they made the conversion, it was like $250 application to get the license. But now that they've been around floating, you paying a large chunk of change. Well, this law says anything we put out there, we gonna waive some of them fees. We gonna make it easier, and we're not just capping the industry. We're just gonna, based off of data, release more licenses as we go to see what happens. And I think that is great if you look at states like Oklahoma that didn't have, like, they did the opposite direction, right? We put a cap, they didn't put no cap, and it's the wild, wild west out there, all hot damn mess. So I'm okay with this slow roll, and I'm okay with this slow roll in putting the hands of everyone who gets access to 2032 as a social equity applicant, right? So because we know who was locked out when this industry was created. We know who predominantly runs this industry, and this is an opportunity for the next decade or so for us to make change. So, in addition, between January 1st of 2024, that's important because that's when applications open up. So between January 1st of 2024 and July 1st of 2032, the LCB may issue up to 52 cannabis retailer licenses under the program. So you thought the 44 was going to be it. Now they added another 52, right? So you have another opportunity. Forfeited, revoked, or canceled licenses up until July 1st, 2032. In addition to the cannabis retailer license, the LCB may issue or reissue the following licenses that were forfeited, revoked, or canceled under the program to an applicant meeting certain licensing criteria. So up to 100 cannabis processor licenses immediately. That is a big deal. Basically, they're saying anybody who can't hack it in this industry, give me them licenses back. We're going to give it to a social equity applicant that qualifies. More importantly, here's 52 more opportunities. The door is cracking in the system right now. Since they started talking to us, now we got avenues in. Also, beginning January 1st of 2025, up to 10 cannabis producer licenses. I also like that. You're questioning, if you know anything about licenses, why are all these retailer licenses but not enough producers? Because we got like 1,600 of them mofos in the state. There is a lot of weed being produced in Washington, not enough places to sell it. So there is a bottleneck and a lot of competition, and that's what's causing the infighting and the gobbling up of the cultivators and them forfeiting their licenses because they produce this top tier product there, but they can't get it sold in the shop. So they're wholesaling it on the back end to other people who have access to the shop, who already control the market. Well, let's make the market a little bit bigger. That's what this program does. And we only need 10 more producer processors. That's cool. Hopefully those producers look like us. Finally, provides a one-time, one license annual fee reimbursement to current cannabis licensees who submit a social equity plan to the LCB. So for the folks that were like, well, why do these new folks get all this credit and everything when we care about the community, we care about equity, we just can't apply because we already have a license. So what about us? Well, this is your what about us. Create a tangible social equity plan for your business structure and submit it, and you will have some money coming back to you because of this program. It modifies the time in which a cannabis licensee may have been issued a cannabis license to qualify for the Social Equity Technical Assistant Grant Program to after April 1st of 2023 and before July of 2024. And I think that is in order to there was always this grant, but there was a little bit of confusion about who gets the grant money and how is it going to pay out and how is it helping people. Well, they changed because it was in theory supposed to open up the time when the program first started, which it really took them 2 years of a social equity task force to be able to come up with recommendations for the state to actually do anything. So way too long has happened. So they're pushing back the start date of the grant program to this month, to the beginning of April of this month and going until mid of next year, which I think is great because they just closed the window. They're figuring out who are going to be the 44 applicants that receive a license. And therefore the money should be accessible to those people once they get their letter of approval. It just makes sense to make that change. But it is going to use tax money to fund this grant to continue helping these licensees down the road. And I think all in all that this is a glorious step for the Washington cannabis industry. Since you have started talking to community, look what you could do. Since you found a lover in us and actually started listening to us, look at her growth, right? I can't wait to see what happens in this industry in the next decade as a result of these owners. And I once again shout out FMS Global Solutions for not only writing the bill but offering free mentorship and programs to these applicants out there. Once they're offering it to people applying, so there's mentorship to them, but once you make it through, they're continuing to guide you, doing webinars, doing training, so that you can be a better business person. Because just because you have the desire to be in this business doesn't mean you are good at business. And I think you need to take the time to, one, listen to what is being put out here, but two, the time to prepare yourself to enter this industry once these applications open back up in January of next year. Like now you know what these individuals face. There's a backup at the SOS. You then need to be able to get funding and capital down the road to issue the business. Like, this is the time to go do the legwork, so that when January comes around, you're just putting in an application and you're off the ground and running, because you have a business model, you have all these things put together. Please take the time, listen to what we just put down here and click the links in our bio. More importantly, listen to Since I Have a Lover by Black, because I'm going to go see that concert in October. Tickets are already purchased. Stop playing with me. I'm coming to see you, Black, and I better get pulled on stage. You know,
you gonna do a little something?
A little something, you know, a little shum, a little pop. Any closing words for you, D'Anthony?
No, not really. I'm going to Portland. Yeah.
Out on the road.
D-road.
Well, thank y'all for tuning in to Light Up and Listen. We are the Bakersmen Collective, and as always, stay baked. Out. In stream. Don't